Hello YouTube and newsletter subscribers, this is Terrell from Terrell3.com. Today is 12/19/2016. This is not a Black Star Update report. Lots of people are writing and asking and talking about this story right here. And it seems to be a lot of people concerned, and I really don't know why. Scratching my head over this one. There's the story about the warning issued of galactic mass ejection to hit Earth. A galactic mass ejection. Hundreds of thousands. No, this is bunk. All this. We've been hearing about this for years. This was going back in 2011. Paul Laviolette, his galactic super wave theory. He came out with a series of dates. I believe one of them last year was May of last year. What happened? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen here. Nothing. We're talking about, they're saying that there's, let me go back a little bit and look at a little more of this story. See, and they're saying that this wave is coming, right? Well, so they quote a little scripture here, and then they go, December 10th, Stefan Stanford wrote about a disturbing string of earthquakes predicted as mysterious vibration that had been detected on the seismographs around the planet. And now we see that, well, those seismographs that were being affected, what do you think they were being affected by? I've told you guys this. Let me, right here. This is why this is happening, the magma plume formation. Come on, I've been telling you about this. The magma plume formation. You remember the descriptions I gave you about the horseshoe? And let me show you on Solar System Scope again. Some people are not listening to what I'm saying, I think, is what's going on here. Okay, we're looking at the Pacific Ocean Ring of Fire, right here. We have this magma plume formation. I'll get you another picture of it. This magma plume formation, you see how it reaches across. It's across from the northern, let's say New Zealand, across the northern part of Australia, pointing across at Chile, right here. Then you see where it's shooting north, going this way. This is the area where we see those 5 magnitude earthquakes pop up. You see this little horn right here? Maybe you can't see it quite as well. This little horn formation, you see these horns that form on here? That's what causes these 5 magnitude earthquakes. Not that they go up and reach the surface, but they push the magma that is above it up. So the magma is trying to get out of the way, and as it is, it causes crustal. It causes anything ready to move along the fault line to move. They're 4.5 to 5.2 or something like that. You'll see a rash of them right in this area. Why? Because of this magma plume formation. Now, keep this in mind right here. This is just showing one cut of this side. There's another magma plume formation that is reaching, and we know by the earthquake activity. We're just looking at the one that's coming across here. There's another one that's moving up through here. It's already a formation. It is contained within buoyancy barriers. Volume 28 of this year's newsletter. If you're brand new to this research, go to volume 28. It's in the Dropbox folder just like all of the volumes. 28. Read the featured article, the one right at the top. It has this picture on it. This picture right here. It's on there. And you're going to get an explanation. You're going to get the reference books. To find out about what the this transition zone is in Earth mantle, 410, 660 kilometers. That's where the buoyancy barriers are containing this formation. This is becoming a reservoir. It is a single unit. So whenever you have an earthquake that takes place, this formation is like this. It's like a horseshoe that goes around. Eventually that horseshoe is going to come together over here, and it's going to cause massive destruction. Eventually, but it's not there yet. So at the beginning of the earth change, let me just start with the beginning of each earth change uptick period. We'll talk about the one that started in the first week of last February. Whenever that happens, this is 2016 in February. Whenever that happens, oh, let's go to the solar system. I want to show you where we are at that time. We want to go to February. Stop it. Stop it. This is giving me a hard time. Doggone it. I got to do it this way. Okay, February. Look where the Earth is. Libra constellation's here. Earth reaches this 90-degree angle to begin the uptick period. What is it that causes the uptick period? Because the Earth, in its natural movement around the sun, is moving from this 90-degree angle right here towards the black star. This backside over here is the lull period because we're moving the opposite direction of the black star. It starts at the 90. So here comes the Earth, get the moon out of the way, it makes my thing mess up. Okay, so here we are, and then going through April, we had all that activity because the black star was in this area right here. Now it's more in this area right here. It's moving this direction very slowly. And as we're moving closer to the black star in this uptick period, the magnetic portal connection between the Earth and the black star, that's about right here, is at its shortest length. So the sun, the black star is siphoning electromagnetism from the sun through the star-to-star magnetic portal connection. Then, that's the reason the sun's going to sleep. The heliosphere shrinking, the whole 9 yards. But the energy from the sun, so near, it's supposed to be right at solar maximum. Very close to it. If we had a double peak in 2015, we're still in 2016. We're right near the peak. It's solar output is supposed to be high, but it's way lower than it should be because the black star is siphoning it. But the black star is redirecting it. So the Earth receives the biggest dose when we're right here in the solar system. We had 9 new volcanic eruptions, 7, 8, or 9 every single week in April because this is where we are in the solar system. Now, what do you think that does to this magma plume formation right here? What do you think it does? It makes it expand. The Earth and the buoyancy barriers have more difficulty containing it, so the pressure is building inside. And as it's building, then what's happening is, let's go back over to here. As it's building, then this northern arm is expanding in diameter, but it's being constricted by the buoyancy barriers, causing it to push further towards Alaska. So when the new orbit cycle begins, we have the activity that begins every single time right here in Indonesia. This is the origination zone. This is where it starts. So let's look at the depth of some of these earthquakes right now. The depth over the last week. You see these deeper ones right here that are going on? See this deeper one that's happening over here? That has nothing to do with being up here by the crust. Look how deep it is under the Earth. That is down in that transition zone. That is adding energy to this magma plume formation. It is gathering energy as a reservoir that is going to be released right here when these two arms come together. Now here's the deal with the end of the uptick period. We saw it on the last cycle too. That pressure builds so much that this magma plume formation becomes rigid. It wants to blow through these buoyancy barriers and it's being contained. That pushes the ends. It started here, it's pushing this way. So we made the prediction. We saw 3 volcanic eruptions, new volcanic eruptions. 3 consecutive weeks at Mount Cleveland, right here in the Aleutians, after Kamchatka, after Japan, after the Philippines, because the wave builds momentum at the beginning of the cycle and goes this way. At the same time, it's jumping across this way and then going up this way. So we see the activity down in Chile first, then Peru, Central America, and then I'm going, as the weeks are going by in let's say March, I'm saying, I'm wondering if how far it's going to reach north. Is it Mexico? And that's sure enough. We get the eruptions in Mexico, but it did not push further any farther because this is the termination area. This is where this horseshoe ends. It's trying to push through, but guess what happens? We come to backside alignment on November the 13th. Let me show you that. Let's go to the actual date, put this back on this side of the solar system, and let's back the Earth up to November the 13th. Well, it's the 14th. It was right at midnight going into the 14th when we came into alignment. Right there. Look where the moon is. Okay, here's our alignment right here. This is where the black star is, the New Zealand quake, 7.8. That begins the lull period. 3 months and 3 days it takes us to get from here to 90 degrees. But as the Earth is moving through this period right here, we have a series of bounces. We have 2 weeks or 3 weeks of sharply decreasing activity. And I should probably open up the newsletter and show it to you. I think I will. Okay, here we are. We have this up. Now let's look in the chart and see what's going on. This is the B in week 41, the backside alignment. That's what I just showed you. Now let's look at the events that are taking place directly after that. We had 49 of these 5 magnitude earthquakes, 303 of the 2.54 magnitude earthquakes. Try to find a higher number on this chart. Try to find it. How far do you have to go before you find a 49 in the 5s and a 303 in these 2.54 magnitude earthquakes? Good luck. I mean, there may be one or two here. There's a 402 right there. Okay, then that happened in a similar situation. We had to go back to last year. So we have, this is the peak of activity. You can see it. You have the most number of fours. Look at what we had before. We had 1, 2, and 3 leading up. After the 4, we had 3 and then 2. After the 49, we had 31 and then 21. This is about 1 or 2 events below average. And we had only 196, a sub 200 value. This doesn't happen very often. Go ahead and look at all the values. You don't see very many. Here's one. You don't see very many that is below 200. It usually happens at the same time you get to an O. See outside orbit position? That's where you usually see it. If we go back to the beginning of the cycle, you see this 180? That's where you see it, but then you have a jolt when Earth turns around in orbit. This was happening back in January at this time because that's when the orbit cycle began, the jolt. The year, was it the year before that? That jolt value was 536. Okay, so what's happening with this now? You see this bounce? And as we were going through this week, I told you a bounce was coming. When I saw this 196, I knew a bounce was coming. Because the Earth core was cooling down, we had to have a bounce right here. But here's the phenomenon, what's happening from the story that I'm reading right there. Whenever that pressure reaches the end of the line and is fully dilated, fully pressing against those buoyancy barriers, then the Earth moves away, starts moving towards outside orbit position for the entire system, for the entire magma plume formation to begin to contract. Maximum peak November the 14th, then it begins to contract. We saw that with the decreasing activity. But the thing is, the pressure that was building up at the end of this starts moving backwards. It starts moving backwards, and guess where it's going? It's going back to the origination zone. And look, then you get this big activity because it's in the convergence zone now. See, the ultimate convergence zone is here in California. This kind of stuff is going to happen over here whenever these buoyancy barriers are broken, whenever these two ends meet right here. This is going to come over here, but it can't yet. So that pressure that's pushing towards here, once we end the uptick period, must go somewhere, and it goes backwards where it just came from, and it converges on this area. That's why you're seeing all this activity. Now, how long it goes depends. Depends on the amount of pressure. There's a lot of variables inside of here. How many big giant earthquakes do we have to add to the reservoir during this uptick period? How many? That determines how far everything pressed. That's the maximum pressure that we achieved. Then it relaxes and goes back this way. You get these reverberations going back and forth. When they come back into the middle, they bounce against the other wave coming from the opposite direction. It's like the waves in a pool coming together and then separating. That's why you have all this big activity, and that's why you're seeing more activity globally, but mostly over here on the Pacific Ocean Ring of Fire. Some of the dynamic globally has changed in the last couple of cycles, giving us more activity. We're not seeing it right here for the last week, but I've shared that information with you guys prior, how the pressures from the Solomon Island February 6, 2013 event caused the cascade. It created extra space that cracked the tectonic plate in two. These tectonic plates wanted to shift this way. That created this new line of activity running from Texas through Seattle, pointing towards Cascadia, and the proliferation of, you see this, where this singular earthquake is down here, this at 10 kilometers? This was the California quake swarm area when this started. This wasn't here. Now this activity has shifted north all the way through Canada, encompassing Yellowstone, keeping Mary Greeley busy. So we are definitely in the lull period, definitely. But these reverberations are still taking place. They're going to slow down, ease off, and they're going to stop, and you're going to see the minimum values in the middle of February. That is going to happen, 100% for sure. Just got an email from a non-sub over at terralo3.com. Trying to say, well, other people are saying that the black star is in a different position, or that it's moving in retrograde fashion, or they're doing that because of some of these reports and this activity that's showing up in the lull, screwing up their modeling, if you want to call it that. This is what they have going in their head. But this, back to the superwave story, I've heard that, no, that's not the superwave story, that's the magma blob story, to help you understand what's going on. It's this story right here. First they give you some Isaiah, then they're talking about the string of earthquakes. This is the reason that I just gave you this is why these recent earthquakes have happened. It has to do with the magma plume activity. These people probably even know what a magma plume is. They're not keeping up with all aspects of the investigation. Then, previous galactic mass ejection coincided with an event that killed hundreds of thousands. Yeah, right. And like they can see this stuff coming. If we truly experience a gamma ray burst, you should know that there are two types: short duration, long duration. Of the short duration version, then that are below 2 seconds. Well, of the long version, then the average is between 20 and 40 seconds. And we're talking about these things happen every day, practically every day. We have one every 24 to 30 we have one every 24 to 30 hours. Not that we've had a star explode to create a supernova in our solar system, in our galaxy. That can happen once every million years or so. They're extremely rare within a galaxy, but when you have so many galaxies, then it becomes rather commonplace. We have gamma ray bursts, waves from gamma rays passing through us every day. It's no big deal. And the idea that one's coming from the galactic center of our solar system, and they could even predict it, the fact that they could even predict it, is astounding to me. And that they're going to give you this advance warning. They're going to know about it when the wave passes through like everybody else. This is disinformation. It's fear-mongering, and it's geared to measure the sensitivity of the listeners, of how much you guys respond, how they can change the narrative. Out there, the viral scream, they're wanting to change it. They put something like this in here. They see the keywords that you're using changing towards this nonsense and away from like the things that I'm sharing with you about. Magnetopause reversals in combination with near-side alignments and magnetic portal connections, portal-to-portal cross-firing, the Black Star event timeline, May of 2017. These are the things that they're trying to get off your mind. And if they can scare you enough and then nothing happens, you're not going to listen to anybody. You're going to say, look, these guys are awful. No, this is a lettered agency operation, desensitizing operation. Counterintelligence works 24/7 every single day. And their fingerprints all over this, right here. The people that are carrying water for them are either operatives, assets, or dupes. You can make up your own mind what they are. I get a little flack for calling people operatives. Well, if it wobbles and quacks, and then it's a duck. And this is what their behavior tells me. And you can expect that behavior pattern is going to continue. They can't change it. They're locked like a prisoner inside of this behavior pattern. So they're going to continue giving you hogwash because that's been their pattern all along. So whether you can decide for yourself who's more dangerous. An operative that's working for the lettered agencies running desensitizing operations, or a dupe that's doing the same thing without being paid. Who's more dangerous? I think they're all dangerous myself, but I share the information, they share the information, and you guys are in the middle weighing and balancing and deciding for yourself. You're your own threat assessment analyst. I'm just here to give you help on that. You're your own survival group leaders. I'm just here to give you assistance, to give you my best recommendations. I'm not ordering anybody around. I'm not ordering anybody to go to the Ozarks, but I tell you what, I'm getting ready to go there myself. And there is some changes in the modeling, and I just told you guys that in the last update report. If you need clarification, then go back there and look at it. The number in doing threat assessment that you're looking for is 10%. There's a 10% chance that this can happen. The inferior model I've been telling you about, the magnetic pole migration model, had less than a 5% a year ago. It had less than a 5% possibility of being accurate. That changed to 5% moving through the year, but it changed to 10% here recently through working through this last the late summer and early fall. Because of the 12-day differential, I've been making reports about that every single week. That 12-day differential is the same 12 days in the 188-day cycle. And that is telling me that the old modeling is correct, that the May 20th date for this year, for the coming year, The May 20th date is accurate. That's what it's saying, but it's only with a 10% degree of accuracy. But because it was elevated within a short time span from 5 to 10, and it appears it could have momentum soon, that changes everything for my threat assessment analysis, even for myself. Even though it's only a 10% chance, I have to be at my safe zone area on this cycle. I have to be in May. And we'll watch and see if we have a May 2nd near-side alignment event. If it's true that the binary star magnetic repulsion model is correct, then we're going to have an event on May the 2nd or thereabouts. That's the center of the event window. It's a small event window. And we're going to have the magnetopause reversal from April 23rd of last year. It's going to happen, say, 4 or 5 days ahead of that. So we've got warning signs that we can look for. When there's no magnetopause reversal, no news of it, no evidence that they are masking the information or deleting the information, removing it from the servers. We just have clean-cut data. Then I'm going to be worrying every single day till we get to May the 20th, because that's the crossing date. And so that's the information I'm giving to you guys. And now that doesn't mean for anybody to do anything. You can do whatever you want. I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do, which is join my survival group. And then you guys are going to decide what you want to do. So nobody's going to say, hey, you told me to do this. Look, I wasted gas driving. No, I'm going to give you the evidence, and you're going to decide for yourself. And then you're going to make a move, or you're going to sit home. That's the way it works. But you are still responsible for your survival group. I'm happy to provide you the threat assessment and contingency planning information so that you can make your best decision. And whenever you come to the Ozark Survival Group, then you'll become part of my group. That's my survival group. I'm the survival group leader of the group there, working there since 2011, that operation. So, and I encourage you guys, if you just clicked on this video and you don't really know what this stuff's about, then this is my website right here. And it's actually owned and operated by one of my right-hand guys in this that has been with me from the very beginning. And here's the button, $25 per year. I had a guy writing me saying that his survival group depends on us, even though he's not in my group, and he's a non-subscriber. And I'm like, it's only $25 per year, and you can be emailing me every day. Why would you do that? Is $25, that's too high of a price to pay for this type of information to get your, you're going to write me. If you write me, if you come down here and click this button and you're a non-subscriber, you might get my answer in 3 or 4 days, because the Gmail account where I'm doing business for the people supporting my research, sometimes I'm there from 4 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night, and I can't get here. If I get caught up, then I want to run over here, see if anybody needs a snail mail address because they want to subscribe or whatever. But pretty much that's what this is about. Or if a newsletter subscriber, and I feel bad when it happens every now and then, but a subscriber loses my email address, they can't, and so this is where they have to go, and they have to wait. I'm sorry for that, but that's might sound kind of strange, but if you were sitting in my chair, you'd understand perfectly why that is. So that's where it starts, right here. Boom. Subscribe, $25. It's going to renew in a year for $25. And you can cancel anytime you want. And if you don't think that's a good service, I definitely don't want your $25. But if you want my time, that's what it takes. That's the same for every single person that has joined a survival group around the world, whether you're in New Zealand, Australia, Canada. This is how it begins. It gives me one transaction. It gives me a little bit of ability to do a little research on you if I would like to. And then I feel good. I feel better about helping you to join a survival group when I have a little bit of information on you. You're going the same. You can receive the same orientation as everyone else. You're introduced to the group, and then you guys can take it from there. That's the way that it works. The Ozarks program is hopping right now. I can't tell you a lot of it because we are in the process of getting some things wrapped up that it's going to help us to begin field operations. And enough said about that. I will be making an announcement as soon as I can about the ground operations that are going on there, and it's going to be really exciting whenever we can finally get going on our staging area property there. So if you're a survivalist at all, then joining this group, even if you don't go there, just communicating with more than 200 families, working together, prepper topics and stuff, prepping. We have a real strong medical team. We have a strong military contingent, and we have group leaders of these committees and working together in the planning stage right now. So you can just learn a lot just by being part of this Ozarks group operation right here, and learn a lot about forming your own survival group if you're looking to do that type of thing, even if you're not going to participate in our program. But this is a great opportunity for survivalists, for people that are looking for a survival group. If you're already part of the doom boom, and that's what's happening in our environment right now. You know the crap's going to hit the fan. Don't you want to be with a strong survival group? With a strong military contingent, protecting our perimeters, and making your family safe. This is like an insurance policy right here, right in the middle of the country. So everybody in the country's got access coming to the middle. Well, it's a little bit south in the middle, but that's because we need to avoid the pyroclastic flows from out west when Yellowstone pops and those calderas that are out there. So you can get your threat assessment report, get that information from me, and then you can give me permission to share your contact information, and then you're going to be connected with over 200 families, and they're going to write you, welcoming you to the group, and then you're going to get lots of information on who's the group leader of this, who's the Dr. Laura's the leader of the doctors, and Robert's the head of the military contingent. You're going to you can be connected with these people, and you can find out more about what's going on with our survival group operation there. So I really encourage it. And again, this super wave stuff, going back, this reminds me so much of 2012. I'm having deja vu in running the operation here, running this project. And if we go on down, then every single thing that they're going to mention, this resonation that they're sensing, like there's something coming, is being caused by the magma plume expansion and contraction inside of our planet. So yes, there is something there. It's not caused by something resonating from outside on the inside. Whenever this supposed super wave was going to come, then everybody would find out about it at the same time, because it would just pass through. But it's going to be extremely tall, extremely long wave, and it is something that takes an extremely long time to get here from the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Extremely, extremely, extremely long time. So this, for me, this whole deal is bunk. To try to say that earthquakes are being caused by a superwave coming, there's no connection to that whatsoever. If the earthquakes are going on and the superwave is coming, come on, it's not here yet. They should be making the report after. But according to them, they couldn't make the report because the superwave took out the power grid. And even if we did have something like that, it would affect 50% of the world. If the Pacific Ocean's turned towards the wave, it's not even going to affect half the world, because we'll be on the nighttime side of the planet. So this stuff doesn't bother me at all. I'm not concerned at all about gamma ray bursts or meteors, or the meteor uptick is definitely real. But I'm not concerned about the Earth being hit by a meteor or a comet or an asteroid or anything. What I am concerned about is the magnetic influence of the black star in a crossing event. That's going to cause a geological pole shift. Scripture talks about the sudden destruction that comes like birth pangs. The birth pangs of the earth changes for me. So those are my thoughts on it. For those of you that are getting ready, you're going through the holiday season and you're worrying about super waves and things like that, then just watch and see. I mean, you can be concerned about it if you want. I'm not concerned about it at all. So you're going to see December 26th is going to pass right on by. If there's going to be a false flag event to try to support this stuff, then we'll see about that. But I see December 26th passing right on by, December 27th, December 28th, and nothing. We're going through a lull period. So this earthquake activity is going to die down with the reverberations, and then you'll see it kick off again in about the third week of February, and the peak of activity will be at the end of April, going into May. That's what's going to happen. 100% sure about that. There are some variables being thrown in there, like I said earlier, because of this magma plume formation. As it gets bigger and bigger, then we have more of a rebound effect afterwards. So with this continuing run of earthquakes, we had it last year. This continuing run of earthquakes, that's what that's about. But anyway, that's my update report. Get more information at terralo3.com. You can always go to my YouTube channel, Terrell Black Star. Click on the videos. If it's an update video that came out on Thursday, then there's a link to the newsletters in there. Go to the last page, and you've got hours and hours and hours of video presentations, radio presentations with the WSO boys, and other people, the Leak Project guys, and then you can get lots more information for free. Just get your hands on one of these newsletters, especially a recent one, and then go to the final page and get to the radio section. Tons of them there. Okay, that's my update, and thank you very much. And if something kind of big pops up here through the holidays, and I'll make another one of these Black Star update news reports. Thanks again, and I'll see you at least by Thursday when the new newsletter comes out.